All right, I'm the Flat Rate Master, and today, we're ranting about shop HVAC contractors, the guys that originally set up most shops' HVAC systems. Part of the reason for this video is recently in Georgia, it's been in the teens, and it made me realize how poorly designed heating systems, especially because that's what I have the most, experience with, is how poorly designed heating systems are for shops. Most shops are set up with a heater in one corner, a heater in another corner, and hope the guys in the middle are comfortable. And that's kind of every shop I've ever worked in. There's never been a actual good implementation of heating. AC is a different subject, but kind of relates to it. And my old shop was a good example of, yay, air conditioning, but a poor implementation of it. And we'll get into that in a little bit. Now, I don't have a lot of experience with newer manufactured shops that are, warehouses. They might have a better HVAC system set up than, some traditional shops that I've worked at in Georgia. The warehouse setups I've worked in have been old and just as poorly heated. Now, dealerships I've been in when I was in sales were actually much more comfortable than most independent shops I've ever been into. And that includes being in shops in the Northeast in the middle of winter, Virginia, West Virginia, Delaware, Maryland. Pretty much all sucked. Let's go to the old shop. Now, not complaining about my old boss as far as him adding AC. Any AC is better than no AC. But I don't think the HVAC contractor that he used did the best job of speccing the right system for that situation. Now, specifically, it's a very old building, no insulation, and, a lot of heat load because it's in direct sun. And keep in mind, my ex-boss wrote a big old check to put in air conditioning. So I'm not complaining about that. I don't think the implementation is on my ex-boss. It's on the HVAC contractor. Now, of course, I'm not a HVAC expert in any way, shape, or form. In my opinion, the systems were under-specced for the heat load that shop generated. And, to give an example, the shop never got below 77 degrees anytime I measured it. If the system was running, the systems ran basically all day. They never turned off. They never got to the set temperature, which indicates it's not able to keep up. It never got the temperature down enough so that it was, trip the thermostat. My fans were kind of useless in my bays the way my toolboxes were set up, but everybody else also ran their fans because there was almost no airflow outside of right in front of the vents. And that, again, poorly designed. If you had to work at the bay doors, it was stifling. You'd be sitting there in the middle of summer, pouring sweat because there was no airflow and you had a heavy heat load through the doors, even though he had them tinted. He was doing everything he could. Don't get me wrong. He was doing everything he could for technician comfort. I think the systems were just under-specced for the situation they were in. And going back to heat, I've never seen a good implementation of heating systems either. Almost every shop I've ever worked in has a natural gas heater in a couple corners, and they're just blowing heat at whoever. And usually if you're near the heater, you're sweating, you're like crazy. And if you're the furthest away from the heaters, you're freezing cold. Again, getting back to poor design. Now, not blaming shop owners, because again, shop owners generally probably aren't, they're not installing their own HVAC system. So they're having contractors, and contractors should be, speccing better systems They're the experts. Back in the day of the old shop with 2 waste oil heaters, I was next to a waste oil heater. So I was sweating. And because of how the airflow worked, it hit off the one wall and came back. And the last bay was always sweltering and every other bay was just cold. Don't get me started on the 3 bays the other direction, because they were always ice cold because they never got any heat. And then there was a heater in the back that, again, same situation. If you were next to it, you might be okay. And that is just a perfect example of poor HVAC design. Now, I will give my old shop owner some crap, because when he did the renovations to the building, he didn't put any HVAC systems in. The waste oil heaters were a complete afterthought. But, blame that on his contractors. I mean, he put in a ton of fans. So anyway, a shop owner is contemplating putting air conditioning in your shop. Really, 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 really look at how they're implementing that HVAC system, because yeah, blowing cold air within 3 feet of the air conditioning unit's great. But when you actually have to work in the whole shop, you might be spending a lot more for that air conditioning system than that first contractor who's used to doing houses is, because shops are very different to air conditioner heat than your house. And heating systems in homes are much more elaborate than almost any system I've ever seen in a shop. Most homes have central distribution, like warehouses will have a large air handler right down the middle, blowing in every position across the entire building. Whereas, shops, they tend to be against the brick wall and blow kind of out. So just my kind of rant about how, heating sucks. It was a cold week. Just saying. So hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thanks for watching. I am the Flat Rate Master.